Hi, Shannon here with Shannon Sizzlen Stampers, and today I'm coming to you with another community curb class for one of my local groups. And I'm super excited because we are working with this super cute stamp set, Hey Girlfriend. And if you would like to order this, it's super easy. Just go to my website at sizzlenstamper.stampinup.net, and then you'll be shopping. Click and shop with me. And this item number is 154516. So if you would like to use the girlfriend set on your projects today, go ahead and get that. Also, if you order with me during February for orders over $50 or more, we have celebrations. So there are exclusive items that you can pick, stamp sets and papers that you can get for free. For every order over $50, you will be able to receive one of these these items. And then we have two items, a stamp set and then a bundle that's a stamp set and paper that if you order $100 or more, you can get. So just something to think about if you're on the fence and you're wondering about whether there's something you want to buy or not. February is a really great time to do that. It's the last month of our celebration time. So keep that in mind as you go. So we're going to start, and I'm going to go through what the items are in your kit. Again, like I said, we'll be using some of the images from the Hey Girlfriend set, and there's a variety of sentiments that you can choose from, and there's even a tiny little cat and dog. When you get your kit, you are going to have several items. You're going to have a white paper to do your stamping. And you're going to have a white heart to do some stamping on. You're also going to have a petal pink or a Rococo Rose scalloped heart. You might remember those hearts from our dual heart punch that I used last month. Those are still a great ordering item. If you do choose to order from me, please use my host code ZXPX2YF4. The other things that you're going to find in your kit are a little heart charm and a piece of white twine. And I do want to let you know that this item did become unavailable from Stampin' Up, so this is not a Stampin' Up product item. We do have a heart charm. I like it actually better. It's a little bit larger, but as I began to work on the kit, it was not available. So I had to find a substitute. You'll have a dark blue large paper clip, a piece of our wonderful denim ribbon that I really like. And then you're going to have three different pieces of designer series paper, and they're double-sided. So as you work on this project, you can think ahead and look at what combination do you want to use for your papers. And then you're going to have a Rococo Rose or a petal pink rectangle. Then you're going to have either a Seaside Spray or a navy large half of a sheet of cardstock, and you'll note that it already has a slit cut in that. I did that to make the project a little more easy for all of you guys as you're crafting from home. That way, if you didn't have a nice, our cutter, the Stampin' Up cutter, it's to where I can lay it down and literally just poke in my blade and cut from one point to the next without having to do scissors or crazy cutting. So I've pre-cut that slit for you. So those are the items that you're going to find in your kit this month. And we are going to be making two projects from them. We're going to be making a really cute double heart bookmark, paperclip bookmark, and we are going to be making a side step photo panel card. So what we are going to do to start is we're going to do the little bit of tediousness. So with your paper, and I may have to draw on this so that you can kind of see. Here is this cut line, because with the video, I don't know if you can see that. So let me make this here. This is the cut line. There's a slit between those two marks. Do you see how this is a short side? And of course I did it on the wrong side. So let me do this again. You want to have your paper to where this short side is up and this short side is on the left. Okay, so you see from here to there is much wider than here, so this needs to go on the right. And from here to there is much wider, so this needs to be at the bottom. And that will make sense to you in a minute. So the next piece is we're going to score. Now, remember in the past, if you don't have a paper trimmer with a scoring blade or a scoring tool, which I'm going to use momentarily, I'm just going to show you, you can use a ruler. You may need two, like for this, I would need two to measure out where I'm going to be. But you can use a ruler and another straight edge. You can use a bone folder to score with by, finding your location and using that. You can also use the back of your scissors to score. You just need to make sure that you have something that's a straight edge and that you've either pre-measured out where you need those score lines to be. So for this project, sorry, I threw that ruler right in the camera. So for this project, we're going to be you have to have your paper laid in this direction or it will not, the dimensions will not be right. But where you're looking to score is going to be at 1 1/4, 2 1/4, 3 1/4, 4 1/4, and 6 1/4. So 1 1/4, 2 1/4, 3 1/4, 4 1/4, and 6 1/4. Oops, I wrote half. 6 1/4. Okay. I'm going to draw these lines so that you can see. In reality, you're going to score them with however you're going to be. You would go in and from the bottom up to the cut line at 1 1/4. From the bottom up to the cut line at 2 1/4. From the bottom up to the core line. You're not drawing, you're scoring. I'm just drawing it on the video so that you can see. And from the bottom to the cut line, actually, sorry, from the bottom all the way across at 4 1/4. And then from the bottom to the cut line at 6 1/4. 4 1/4 goes all the way across. Okay. And these are all score lines. I'll write it and then I'll move my arm so you can see it on the video camera really well. But these are all score lines, not ink. I'm doing it in ink to be able to make it more visible for you on the video. All right, so you're scoring from the bottom up to the cut line. The only time you're going to pass that cut line is at 4 1/4, and we're going to go all the way across. And in essence, 4 1/4 is your halfway mark, okay? So I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to grab mine that I've already scored. So this is where you're, so see, this is going to make sense. So this is where we've scored, okay? Now, the trick is folding. So I like to say you're going to start and you're creating steps. So you're folding, make the mountain peak, then you want a valley, then you want a peak, then you want a valley, then you want a peak. And then this over here will fold all on its own, okay? So that you end up with that. Should be pretty close. Sometimes it might be a little askew, like you'll see here I might have made my cut a little too far, or if you don't get your scores even, or you go over a little bit, it should all still work out. You just want to be cautious. We're going to be covering a lot of this, so any errors in scoring, it will be covered up, so you don't have to worry. All right, so now that you understand the scoring and you've folded that like so, now we're going to go in and do the decorating, the pretty part of the paper. And then we're going to do the stamping and adding on all of the images, sayings, and the embellishments. So we're going to start with paper. You have 3 pieces of designer series paper. And once you've seen how the panels fold up, it will make sense to you which panel goes where. So your largest piece of designer series paper, again, you can choose whichever side you want to have showing, is going to go on this large panel to the left, the vertical panel that you've created. And I'm just using my white liquid multi-purpose glue. You can use whatever adhesive you prefer. And you want to line this up to where it's nicely kind of creates an even frame around that paper. Okay. Now, on these side panels, remember we've folded those like stairs. So this panel is wider than the back one. So your two little papers, the wide one goes on the front and your narrow one goes on the step 2. Not this. Leave this blank, okay? That piece is going down in your valley. You want it on the piece that's going to come up on your valley to the peak. Hopefully that makes sense. I think when you can visualize it, it will make more sense, at least for me. I'm a very visual, hands-on learner, so hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so then you're gluing these strips of DSP the same way. Just glue them whichever design you choose to have up. And you're centering them to nicely have that be in the center of a cardstock frame, okay? All right. So that's what it should look like. You have, when you lay it down flat, the vertical panel up to the score line is where your first DSP goes. This the wide small DSP goes on panel 1. Panel 2 is blank. Panel 3 is where your skinny DSP goes. Panel 4 is blank. And now you see that we have this, let me fold it up again. Now you see panel 4 is blank, and you see this large panel right there. That is this piece. You may or may not want to add this piece at this time. You can add it this way, and it will overhang a little bit, or you could trim it if you don't like that, or you can add it vertically. I designed it to be vertical. And in this, you're going to print and put a photo of you, of friends, of whatever you want. So for this one, when you do go to attach it, I recommend putting your adhesive on the lower, that half of that panel, instead of this where you don't have to measure it out. And then you're just going to center it on there somewhat. When you're ready, you may want to add your photo to it and everything before you put that piece on. So at the end, that's what it's going to do. It's going to stand up. And you may see as you work with it, it gets a little like it doesn't want to stand exactly. If you go over it and really fold down those creases nice and crisp, it will stand more straight like so, okay? So that is the base of the side step frame, photo frame card. Now let's add some fun decorations to that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change. Let's go ahead and do, let's go ahead and do the decorations. So we're going to stamp a girl. I'm going to use this cute little girl with a side ponytail. And I don't know which girl you have. I can't remember which one I stamped for. And I may have done a variety because sometimes I get bored of stamping. And then you are going to color her in with whatever coloring tools. And you might want to have the dog or the cat. And you're also going to pick whatever sentiment that you like and stamp. And then you're going to be coloring with whatever coloring tools you prefer. Now, I love the Stampin' Up! Blends. These are our alcohol-based markers. They are the best deal for alcohol-based markers on the market. They're much less expensive than other brands. And I just love them. But look how, you'll see. And you can make the skin tone, you know, whatever you want. I love the alcohol markers because it blends and it really allows you to create different blends of colors for clothing, for skin, for interior pieces. It's really fun to be able to create your own. Now I'm going to take this darker one and just barely put a tiny bit in a cheeky area, in her cheeks, to really draw attention to those. And pick whatever color you want for her eyes. And for the eyes on this, I'm going to use the tiny bullet point end so that they're nice and crisp. I'm probably going to decorate this one to remind me of one of my granddaughters who is not going to have any hair color because I didn't grab any hair color. So let me grab that real quick. I did one the other day for my Facebook Live, and I did one that was blonde for one of my granddaughters, but I'll do a different granddaughter today with, I have one that has kind of a little bit of a reddish brown hair. So let's just do the hair. And really, you can use this, you can color your images with watercolor pencils. You can color them just straight with colored pencils. Whatever coloring tool that you have that you really like. I'm just going to go in here at the top where I feel like there might be more shadowing with my darker color and just add a little bit of highlights in there. And then I go back for the blender pens. You want to go back over them again with that light color because that's what really blends those colors. And it will be hard for you to see the colors on, it may be hard for you to see the colors on the video, the deep blends. In person, they're really spectacular. So let's just give her some pink little clothes and a hair bow. And these I'm not doing too much blending on right now at the moment. I'm doing more coloring now. For this little dress, I am going to go in and catch a little bit of shadowing and shading down there where I think. So that means, again, I want to come back over those colors with that light shade, the first shade, so that it blends out that shadowing and that depth of color. It will all become like seamless, like one. I'm just going to put a little tiny darker dot in the center of that flower and accent that bow. And we'll do the dark color on the bag, a little purse. Okay. And probably a tiny bit in the lips. Not very much, and I'm actually going to go over them with the little very light petal pink to blend those and soften those. Now I think she might like some denim-y colored leggings, so we'll do some little leggings on her. And we'll pull that into those are kind of the same color as her eyes. So I'm going to do a darker denim on the shoe and the bag handle. And then I'm going to use this darker denim again to create those shadowing places. And again, go back over with the first color that we used. This time I'm using that bullet point because I want to make sure I get them colored really good. Okay. So now my girl is colored. Now I have to set her aside for a moment. And I'm like, oh, I need, the saying that I selected is I love my besties. So I'm going to go ahead and color that heart in on there. Most of the sentiments don't have anything to color. And you notice that I caught an edge when I stamped. That's okay, because we're going to be cutting all of those little guys out. Okay, I guess we're going to have a cinnamon cider puppy dog because I didn't bring any other colors over again with me. So let's match, let's give him, he's got a tiny, tiny little heart around his neck. So put him in there. Now, I'm going to just show you a couple other things. And if you have a watercolor pencil or a colored pencil, you can do the same technique. It will not give you the full effect that you get with the alcohol markers for blending, but it will do a little bit. So I'm using what is called a color lifter and the bullet tip. And I'm just going to be putting little dots all over. And it's going to be hard for you to see, and it takes a little bit for the blender pen to work. It has to have time for it to bleed and lift those colors. But over time, you're going to be able to see it's going to give a tiny bit of texture to the fur. If you are not using the alcohol blend pens, what you would use is a white colored pencil or watercolor pencil. Now I'm going to come back in with the bullet pen to the same shade, only in the dark. And I'm going to go around, do little tiny dots again on him. And you see how they're blending and getting lighter. Oh, my lid's only going. Not sure why that lid is not going on right. These lids only go on one way. There. And for whatever reason I couldn't get it. And then I will go back over my little pup with the solid color again. The first layer. And after you've done that and let it all set, and I'm going to move him really close to the camera. Whoop. Hopefully you can see it. Maybe let me try it this way, face on, because I can tell. You can start to see the texture that comes into the little pup with his fur. So those are just simple techniques that you can do and take your coloring to the next level. While we are stamping and coloring, actually, you're going to want to stamp. Oh, that was loud. So sorry. One of these girls part of the way onto a white punched heart. And I'm going to I want her little arms. She has it to where her little hands make the heart shape. So I'm hoping I can capture that. Yep. I'm just going to stamp, and you see I stamped off on a scrap paper. And then same thing, you're going to color her. So this girl, I'm going to grab one more color of brown, a little bit darker. I'll make this be one of my other granddaughters. And we'll start with, and I just want to show you so you can kind of see the difference in the hair colors when you pick up different colors and blend them. Okay, so that's the lighter shade. Now I'm picking up a totally different color. This is the bronze, and I often use this with some skin tones as well. It's really, really lovely. But it gives a little, I've got the youngest granddaughter actually has some pretty dark brunette hair. If she had eyes, I'd color them brown. Again, we're going to put a little bit of lips on there. And let me just show you. Let's give her a little bit different color skin so you can see what I'm talking about when I'm saying blending the skin colors. So this is a shade darker than what I did on the other little girl. Okay, I'm going to come in and I'm going to bring in my light cinnamon. Actually, no, let's do a crumb cake, I think. So I've done the darker petal pink. Oh, I hope this is gray. That's right. I'm going to bring in this kind of gray crumb cake. I should have done crumb cake because this is more of the gray. But you can see how it starts to blend, and you go back over her again with that first color, and it's really going to start looking like she has some shadowing and different skin color, a little bit of depth to the color of her skin. She's not just a pale pink. And you just keep going over that until you get the skin tone to where you like it. And then we're going to go ahead and let's add her a little pink bow. And I just picked these colors to kind of coordinate back. And I think on her we're going to do kind of the seaside, that denim-y color skirt down here at the bottom. But I want her to have a pale pink top just because I want that heart shape that's inside of her hands to kind of pop, because it's part of her shirt. It's just, you know how people and the kids nowadays, they make the heart with their hands, you know, like this. I can't even do it that well. There we go. And it's in front of her shirt. So by making her shirt pink, you kind of mimic that pink heart. And if you wanted, you could even darken that in and really spotlight it and make it special. So now you've got all the coloring and the stamping pieces done for your projects, both of them. So let's lay those aside. We're going to quickly fussy cut out our girl. And when I fussy cut, I like a scissor. I love our paper snips because they have a curved blade. So it makes it much easier to go around these little intricate curves than a standard pair of paper cutting scissors does. And you're just going to kind of go around. I got to get rid of that excess paper. When I'm fussy cutting, I tend to try, and it doesn't always work, and that's okay, to leave about a 1/16 to an 1/8 maybe of white around my cutout. Sometimes I will blend. I'll use my blends like a pool party or a light gray to create shadowing, or even a yellow to create a glow around that. Depends on what I'm layering it on. For today, I'm just leaving it the little edge of white, of our basic white. So we're coming on down and we're just cutting her out like that. Then you are going to cut your saying. You can either cut your saying out in a rectangle, or if you have a punch, you could punch it out. Because I chose this one has kind of a cursive font on part of it and a type font, and then it has this little heart. So I'm actually kind of just trying to mimic the shape as I go around those pieces. See, that little stamped edge doesn't matter. And then the last one you have is to cut our little cute puppy dog friend. I have one daughter that has boxers. They're boxer parents. They have 2 new boxers that are siblings, brothers. And then I've got my youngest daughter has a pup. Then my oldest group, my son has a pup. And then And then my oldest daughter has cats only. One of the boxer parents, they also have cats. But so now you have these 3 pieces. Now remember, you're going to put a photo here. A photo is what you're going to layer there. I've chosen I Love My Besties, so I'm hoping that I'm going to get a photo with one of my good friends, and then I can put it on there. And it would be fun to send it to them. So you've got a piece of the denim ribbon, and you've got your little heart and a piece of twine. You're going to go ahead and run that white twine through the little loop on that heart. Like I said, I had to go back and add to this kit because of the heart being back ordered. And in essence, what you're wanting to do is can't get my fingers to move. Run the twine through the heart charm, and then you're just tying it on to the denim ribbon in a knot, and it can be tight or loose, however you like it. If you want to do a twine bow, you can. Then you're going to figure out your sizing of where you want that to be hanging, or how you want that to be hanging, and where. I think I'm going to do mine on this front panel, but you could put it on that second panel as well. I am going to adhere my ribbon with glue dots. You can use whatever adhesive you choose. Just remember, you're probably going to want to trim that ribbon down a little bit. So you're going to want to get it on the one edge. And for me, I'm going to choose to do it on straight edges because I want it to look right on the, I have to trim my ribbon again because I have fray. Although that would be okay. It is denim ribbon. And I'm just going to put that. I don't know why I'm having such a time today with these glue dots. And my fingers is a lot of it. Okay, so I'm going to lay that down flat, and I'm going to put my glue dot like so. I'm going to slide my little charm over a little bit further, and then I'm going to see where I want to cut my ribbon at. I wanted to give you enough ribbon if you wanted to tie your denim ribbon into a knot, you could. If you wanted to put it into a bow, if you have really good tiny fingers, you might be able to. I would not be able to do it. Normally, I just put these dots right to where I'm doing them. I don't usually pick them off with my fingers, but that's the method for today. Okay. Then you can trim this twine if you like. You can leave it longer if you want. If you want more long zhuzh on your frame card, you can leave it on there. Get those pieces out of the way. Now, I am going to use a dimensional. And dimensionals are these little fun dot things that just pop things up and make them stand out. And I'm going to be putting those on my seine. But you can glue it if you don't have those. You can glue it definitely straight down to your ribbon or to your paper, wherever you're putting it. I'm going to put my seine right there. And then I'm going to put my little girl. I'm going to do her with dimensionals as well. You just pull those off. They're self-adhesive, so they're really handy. I'm going to put her over here in the center. And then I've got my little pup. And if you want to add the pets, I think they're cute on the middle step, but you could also wait and add your photo, and then you could put them there as well. I'm going to put him kind of, I think, right up here to give a little bit more interest on this side of the frame. So there is what he looks like up tall, and if you lay it, I'll hold it flat like that for my above camera to look at. And then here is, if you can see it in front, and we've got our cute little pup back there. And then remember, this is where you're going to glue your photo that you're going to put on there. Isn't that so cute? I love my besties. So that's part one. The next project is that little double heart bookmark. And it's just something super easy and sweet that you could give. This card is designed, it will lay flat, and it will, I don't have an envelope close, but it would, you could choose to send it as a card. So it's a desk thing or for your table, but if you want to make it a card to give someone, it will fold flat, it can go in the mail, and it fits a standard size envelope like that. And you could choose to add this to your envelope and send it. And this is just a super cute, you make a bookmark using the paper clip. And again, you're going to glue that on with whatever you want. So you could do Scotch tape if you need to. You could use double-sided tape. You could use tear tape. we're going to see how this is going to work. But I'm going to use the glue dots is what I'm going to choose to use. And I'm just going to pick those up. I feel like the glue dots, they've altered how they're on my thing, and I feel like they don't come off as easily. Okay, so I've put some of the glue dots on my paper clip, and I'm just going to slide it up there. And then same deal, you're going to glue your girl however you want. I'm just going to use these glue dots because I have them here, and they're like at random parts on this strip that I tore off, so I don't want to, they'll be a pain to save. But you can put your other heart on with double-sided tape, tear tape, mono glue, whatever you have. You just layer right on top of that. If you have dimensionals, that could be a good option for the top two hearts. because the bottom heart is going to come around there and be a little bit raised because of the paper clip. So let me just show you, if you happen to have dimensionals, what that would look like if you raised up your the top two halves. The bottom of the heart, you would just adhere it as normal. But if you instead put dimensionals in here on the top curves of the heart, instead of where it looks like the bottom of the heart is just coming down kind of awkward, now the tops of the heart will be kind of at the same height as your paper clip at the bottom. And I'll just slide it right on there. But you can slide it, goes right on a book page. Or if you want, if you like I Love My Besties and you want another girl up there, you can put her right on the clip and it go right there as your photo. So it's kind of a 2-for-1, and you can decorate and kind of make that your own however you want. Color your little images to make them representative of who you're giving to, or just because you think they're cute. And I hope that you enjoy this Healthy Solutions community class this month. Until next time, bye-bye.